Hello and welcome to my review of Wolfenstein The New Order. With the new Doom coming out a week ago, I thought let's finish The New Order. I had bought it the first week it came out, but I stopped playing it for around 1/3 of the game in, and sadly I pretty quickly came to realize why I did quit Wolfenstein The New Order. So what surprised me most is that the story isn't just there to give you a reason to shoot at everything that moves, but is actually pretty good. Many of the characters are fleshed out and give us some backstory. There's also some great emotional moments. The game starts with an alternative timeline version of the events on Normandy Beach. I will give a slight spoiler now, but nothing too important. You have to choose who you want to live and who you want to die. Depending on where you choose to save, you get a different skill. The game let it seems like it's a really important choice, but other than how you get some power-ups and enter some rooms, the gameplay is exactly the same. So don't play the game again for the sole reason to experience both timelines. After this you escape and the murderer becomes the main villain of the game. I won't spoil anything else, so you can come in pretty fresh if you haven't played the game yet, but I do still have some criticisms. I really like that they use real German in the game, it gives a sense of reality, but one really fake sounding accent bothered me a lot, and that was the character of Caroline, the woman in the wheelchair. She never speaks German but English with a heavy accent. Maybe if you don't know German or live around that area you won't pick up on it, but for me it was really annoying. Also, all of your comrades and friends stay alive way too much. They get captured, but instead of killing them immediately, what the Nazis do with everybody else in the game, they are taken away for you to rescue them. The same happens to you. It happens way too often that you get captured, tortured, but don't die, and that you can escape at the last moment. And now comes a huge spoiler for the ending of the game, so skip to the point you see on screen right now to avoid the spoiler. The ending of the game is very abrupt. You kill the main villain and you say the castle can be nuked with you still in it, because you are badly hurt by the grenade that the enemy used to commit suicide, and that's it. Credits roll. What I really hated about this ending was the fact that it took a couple of seconds for the grenade to explode. Blazkowicz could have easily thrown the grenade away and escaped, especially if you take into account that this is one of the main mechanics of the game itself. Also, you stabbing the big bad guy isn't satisfying at all if you take into account what he has done. I would have wanted a lot more gruesome ending. And the angel is still in Berlin, alive and well. They don't resolve the storyline at all, but I guess that's to set up the sequel. The graphics of the game are good but not perfect. The textures aren't always great, and it suffers from the same texture stream thing that Rage suffered from. That was to be expected, this being the same engine that Rage used. Also in London, just before a boss fight you see a bridge and a part of the town of London, and it looked really low texture. But the game has some really cool lightning effects, especially in the boss fight I just mentioned. Some other complaints I had was that I had to turn on VSync so that the game didn't suffer from screen tearing, and that some cutscenes are really noticeably compressed. So this is where the game shines, but also really disappoints. The gunplay is awesome, it's quick and the guns feel really good because of the recoil on it. You are fast and you have a really big arsenal. Not that you have that many guns, but because of the alternative modes they act like different guns. For example, your sniper is also a laser gun and your assault rifle is also a rocket launcher. And because of the story you see some great locations that sometimes even change the gameplay a little bit. But why I stopped playing this game and was a little disappointed in the game was because of all the downtime. You have a couple of minutes of great gunplay and then you have to do something stealthy, or you have to talk to some people and go undercover, or you have to watch a torture cutscene where you can't do anything. And in a game like this I just want to constantly be shooting at everything that moves without downtime, and that's why I think I will really like the new Doom. Also, the game has a really weird perk system to level up your character. You have to do certain tasks and kill people in a certain way to get upgrades. I found it really annoying because it forced you to play in a certain style and I didn't want to do that. So I ignored it completely and was just fine on the normal difficulty level. And the last level is really disappointing. You have to go through 3 different chambers and then there's a 3-stage boss fight. That is pretty cool, but it isn't that much more than just shoot everything you have at the enemy and that's it, you're done. This level is also really short, I completed it in 17 minutes, but many other levels take around an hour or more to complete, so for me this was a big anticlimax. All the sound effects sound great, but for me the best thing was the soundtrack, especially the cutscenes. You've got some really cool effects with the acoustic guitar in those, and the unlockable German versions of pop songs are really cool as well. Overall this game is great and disappointing at the same time. It just wasn't what I wanted out of it, and I found it a little bit too modern at certain areas. I would have liked less story, more shooting and more maze-like levels. But don't think that I mean that this game is a bad game. I find it a good game and it is still lots of fun, but not exactly for me. Let's hope Doom is more up my alley, and it seems to be the case. I give The New Order a 6.5 out of 10. And I also recommend playing the old bot before playing The New Order. It's around 6 hours and you see a return of the monsters from Return to Castle Wolfenstein. That lacked from The New Order.